This is the plaintiff, Deborah Greif. She says she was thrown to the ground by the defendant's vicious pit bull, who was not on a leash, and that's against the law. The beast also attacked her poor little Chihuahua named Diva, shaking her violently, and her poor dog died that day. The defendants have taken her precious Diva away from her. She's psychologically scarred for life and is suing them for the $4,116.89 she's seeking today from them for all she's out. These are the defendants, Joanne and Alexander Rikimoto. Joanne says the plaintiff served them with this ridiculous lawsuit with trumped-up charges, and they've paid enough to her and refused to give her another dime because she's trying to take terrible advantage of them. That's right, her dog died of a heart attack before arriving at the vet, so there are no bills other than the cremation fee which they paid, and they can't wait for the judge to set this lady straight today. They're accused of not taking responsibility.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated and come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Greif, you had a Chihuahua named?
Diva.
Diva. And you were walking Diva, and what happened?
I have two Chihuahuas, and they were both on a leash, and I was walking them around the block, and as I got down the block, I saw this guy doing his lawn, and there was a pit bull unleashed on the lawn, and then the dog came up to me, and then the dog took its mouth and wrapped it around my dog's body. She was only 5 pounds. So I tried to beat the dog off.
What was the person who was in the yard with the dog doing? Did they run up?
He was doing nothing. I was screaming, "Help me, help. Please help me."
Were they calling the name of the dog? Were they doing anything?
He wasn't doing anything. It was like he was dumbfounded. I tried to beat the dog. I fell to the ground. My other Chihuahua took off. The whole neighborhood was out doing their lawn. Nobody would help me. One of the neighbors even yelled at me.
Yelled at you?
The neighbor came up to me and he goes, "Why are you making such a big scene out of this?" He goes, "Take the dog home and give it a bath." I'm like, my dog's laying there with the guts hanging out. And then the dog took off to get my other dog to chase me.
The pit bull took off after your other Chihuahua?
That took off down the block.
Okay.
And I was screaming to the neighbors to get my other dog. Then finally, these 3 women in this van, she took her sweat jacket off, wrapped my dog around, and brought it in the car. And we all went to the vet. And when I got there, I went into a waiting room, and they came out and they said, "Ma'am, we're sorry, your dog died." I went to my knees.
Sorry.
I fell to my knees screaming, hysterical crying. And then other stuff happened after that.
Such as?
My neighbor, she was concerned about my well-being. So I ended up in Brookhaven Hospital. And they admitted me for like 8 days or something like that. I have all my papers.
What kind of a hospital is Brookhaven?
It was because I lost it.
Okay.
I really couldn't deal with seeing my dog murdered like that.
I saw my cat murdered that way, based on a dog bite. And my children, more importantly, saw that. And it is a very, very traumatic event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other stuff happened.
Okay, let's hold on that, because I want to hear, who was in the yard that day?
Was my
Can you step up and switch with him a moment?
Yes.
What happened?
All right, so we were just raking the leaves, and the dog was inside, actually, and we had an extension cord running through the, front door, so it was closed, but it wasn't, locked, and he ran through the front door, and then...
That's not how she describes it. She describes seeing your dog, hanging with you.
I agree. And then I was raking the yard, and I was kind of facing, the opposite way of her. So then once I heard the commotion, I turned around, and I seen my dog running after her dogs. So then I threw the rake to go run and get the dog. So then I picked up the dog, and it was in his mouth, so I stuck my hand in to break it up, broke it up, and then brought him inside really quick, and then came back outside, and then At that point, she was wrapping her dog up and entering the car and leaving.
I take it you do not have a fence around your property.
No, we do not. In the
So
backyard.
you had an open door, a pit bull, no fence. These are the facts. How long have you had your dog?
He was 6, it's almost 8 years now.
Your involvement, you're just their mother?
I'm their
Not
mother.
just, but-
I'm the homeowner.
Okay.
I was there when she returned to my house. The boys called me and told me something happened. I came right home and I met Miss Grief with the
How old are
police.
the boys, roughly?
I was 16 at the time. I'm 18 now.
All right, so talk to me and tell me what happens that day after.
Well, I express condolences because I am an animal lover and I don't diminish any of what emotion that she's going through. I completely get it. I love my dog as well. She came with the police and she was demanding that I be arrested because she felt it was a criminal act that my dog did that, and the police said that it wasn't at that point. And that was really the only contact I had with the defendant until we returned to court the following month.
For?
She filed a claim that there was an incident involving the dog, and she wanted restitution, and she wanted my dog put on a dangerous dog list.
Okay, and what happened with that case?
Again, expressed our condolences to the district attorney. We never saw the defendant that date. And the district attorney told us the outcome of the case was going to be our dog was named on a dangerous dog list for 1 year. We had to pay, which we were going to offer to do right off the bat for any vet or medical expenses that she incurred due to the incident, and which we did. In the meantime, the dog,
That would be the cremation costs.
yes.
Okay, well, she's suing you for the value of the dog, her lost wages, vet bills she had just paid beforehand. Tell me your defense.
Yeah, I don't know the value of an 8-year-old Chihuahua, so I went online and looked. I found a few articles. I didn't see any of them in the amount that high.
Well, do you feel that you folks would be responsible for the value of the dog, and if not, why not?
I would say the property of the dog as property, yes.
In your answer to the complaint, you state, I'm not trying to take the emotion away, but her dog was 8 or 9 years old, and it definitely wasn't a puppy, it wasn't a show puppy. I think this whole lawsuit is absurd and a money grab. What did you mean by that?
I believe she inflated the amount due to her to obtain more financial success.
Do you think
out of
suing you
this.
is absurd?
Well, I think the amount that it was for
So
was
you don't
absurd.
consider the lawsuit, the whole lawsuit
Correct.
is absurd. You're retracting that, right?
Yes.
Because the whole lawsuit isn't absurd, is it?
No.
Why would she wait a whole year to file this lawsuit? Plus, we have paperwork to show her dog died of a heart attack, so we owe her nothing. Tell me about that.
Well, I didn't mean to say we owe her nothing.
What's this heart attack business? What are you talking about?
When we were in court, I asked the district attorney what the dog basically died of, because the way that I was told by my son, it wasn't a gut hanging out type of a puncture. It was a small puncture, but because the dog was so small, any puncture was going to be giant for that dog. And when I asked the DA about that, she said the dog died of a heart attack, which was secondary to the puncture wound.
Right. So do you feel that that would mean you folks wouldn't be responsible for the value of the dog to her? Because I got some leads on what caused the heart attack. Right? Right. It's not the pit bull's fault. The law doesn't punish the pit bull. They're punishing the owner's conduct. You weren't home. So I'm talking to you.
Yep.
I need you to understand social responsibility.
Yeah, sure.
I know you feel bad.
Yeah.
I'd like you to apologize to that lady.
I'm sorry for not making sure the door was closed and my dog was contained the proper way.
Thank you.
It matters, guys. It matters. I am sure he is sorry. I know it's genuine, because if not, because he's just genuinely sorry for hurting another human being, and I have no reason to believe that it's not genuine, then because of everything it's caused after this, he knows that this was a big mistake. Mistakes happen. You know, they're not intentional and they don't require criminal penalties to them. but they happen and they do require some kind of civil justice.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Are pit bulls especially dangerous? We get a lot of pit bull bites in this courtroom.
I disagree. My pit bull is actually a nanny dog and has taken care of my baby since she was born.
I got bit by one, had to go to the hospital. He would not let go.
Well, are you guys together?
Yes.
Was that dog the one that bit?
No.
No, different dog.
But she has a pit bull and you guys are together?
Yeah, it's okay. She makes up for it.
So you lose a leg or something, it's not a big deal, right? Go. Just an arm. Going inside the courtroom.
Although our pets are our children, right? When I come home from taping at the People's Court, when I fly back to Miami, when the kids were little, they used to run down a marble staircase so fast, I would yell, "Don't run," because I knew they were gonna take a header one day. Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore. The only living creature that runs like that to see me is my dog, Sammy. Yeah. I know that not only did you have a loss of a pet, but you had it happen in front of you, and I know how painful that is. The law only allows you to get recompensed for the value of the property and any ancillary charges that you ended up having to pay that are a foreseeable consequence of what happened. When you say that you have $1,500 in lost wages, you are saying because you had to not work when you were so upset about what happened, right? The time that you took afterwards.
I was hospitalized for 8 days.
The question is, all that a court can order that side to pay are things that are reasonably foreseeable based on what occurred. So is it reasonably foreseeable that someone would be hospitalized for 8 days when they lose their pet? That is the question that's in front of me right now. It's a tough question.
I understand. I just, because of the incident, it ruined me.
No, I know. I'm not, let me just say that I am not questioning whether you should have been hospitalized. You do you, baby. That is not the question. The question is, legally, can I call that a reasonably foreseeable consequence and make them pay your out-of-pockets on that? That's the question, which is a totally separate question from whether or not you did the right thing for yourself. Okay. I think you have great friends who made sure you did the right thing for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's go over the 4 things you're suing for. You're suing for the value of the dog, which you have set at $2,143.96 because that's what you paid for the dog 8 years ago.
Right.
But it was a new dog 8 years ago, and it's an 8-year-old dog now. In court, what the value is that a judge has to set is the value at the time of the loss. So even though it sounds a little insensitive, she's 100% correct that what would someone pay for an 8-year-old Chihuahua is the figure I'm looking for. You've sued for lost wages. That can often be compensable if the lost wages are, listen, you got to know that when your dog eats my dog, I'm going to have to take a few days off to take care of my dog for the next 3 days. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. That is incredibly and imminently foreseeable. This is different. The lost wages were as a result of the hospitalization that you had, which I don't think is something that I can tell them they have to pay for, because I don't think that it is reasonably foreseeable that someone will be hospitalized for 8 days having this loss. I'm going to make them pay your copays because I don't know that it's so far out of the realm of reasonably foreseeable that someone might feel the need to go through some kind of therapy when something like this happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order them to pay you the value of the dog, which I am going to set at $1,000, and I am going to order them to pay you the co-pays for the subsequent follow-up for a total of $1,330 that I am ordering the defendants to pay the plaintiff. Good luck to you, ma'am.
So the plaintiff does prevail and collects $1,300. It's not what she was seeking in this case. Interestingly, everybody here's a pet lover. It's just a tragic situation that you all end up in court like this.
It really was.
The judge says she felt you should have reached out to her. Don't you think maybe she's right?
I was advised not to at that point by the district attorney, but I do feel awful for her. And
I mean, if it had been the other way around, don't you think it would be nice if she would have gotten in touch with you?
absolutely.
But hopefully this will never happen again. Okay.
agree.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very, very much. Okay. All right, Ms. Grieve, I'm sure everybody feels very sorry for you. Let me, a quick question. It's been a year and a half since this happened. Why did you wait so long to bring this lawsuit?
Because I had to be emotionally ready to deal with this situation all over again.
And how are you doing now, emotionally and physically?
It's hard because I couldn't walk my dogs for like a year. I couldn't walk them on a leash. And I'm here really because I want people to know that even though your dog's nice, you should always have them on a leash because dogs are unpredictable. And here's my little diva. I had to show you.
That's good. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you
okay?
very much.
Thank you very much. All right, Harvey, a very sad case. What do you think?
Doug, if a dog gets out more than once and is running around and biting people, call animal control.